Hello everyone. I'd like to take some time today to talk about Cardano, more specifically the FUD that I see surrounding it. So for this video, I'm going to be going through the 5 most popular claims of FUD I've seen being spread around the internet about Cardano and debunking it, claim by claim. So let's get started. Claim number 1. Cardano has no working product. This isn't true at all, as Cardano has been running its own mainnet since September of 2017. The settlement layer is fully operational, and at this point I can create a wallet as well as send and receive ADA. I would go as far as to argue that currently Cardano is as functional as the Bitcoin network when it comes to actually using it as a currency. It is important to note, however, that this mainnet is currently centralized, with its nodes being ran by IOHK and their sister companies Emurgo and the Cardano Foundation. However, this will all be changed with the implementation of the proof-of-stake Shelley update, which is right around the corner. It was announced that Shelley will be released in the first quarter of this year. Some people see this current centralization of the mainnet and immediately dismiss the project as unimpressive, but I think this is mostly coming from people who have come from other projects which have hosted decentralized mainnets from the get-go. These other projects are able to do this simply because they are forks of other projects like Bitcoin or Ethereum. They pretty much just copy-pasted the code from these big players and changed or expanded on a few things to create their own blockchain. Some of them are also ERC20 tokens, so they use the Ethereum blockchain to host their network and keep things decentralized. This is one of the things I find most impressive about Cardano actually. It's not a fork of any other chain, and it is not an ERC20 token. The fact that Cardano has a functioning mainnet without being one of these two things is actually quite impressive. There are very few projects that have written all of their code from the ground up. There are currently over 2,000 cryptocurrencies in existence, and I could probably count the number of projects that have done this on my fingers, so it isn't something that should be ignored. Claim number 2. Cardano is moving too slowly to remain competitive. Well, it is true that Cardano is developed at a slower rate than some of its competitors, and this is mostly due to the time-consuming academic rigor of peer review and the care that software engineers and game theorists working on the project put into it. But people who are making this argument, I think, often fail to realize exactly where cryptocurrency is as a whole on the world stage. Currently, cryptocurrency is still in its absolute infancy. No one knows for sure how many people on Earth are actually using crypto today, but some estimates I've seen have put it somewhere between less than 1% to 3% of the global population. This is important to think about because it shows that there is currently little to no adoption on a world scale. This is because there are very few projects in existence that have made any real-world impact aside from simply moving money about freely. Adding to this, there are arguably no projects that are even ready to serve the remainder of the global population. The tech in this space is still very primitive, and still, most blockchains haven't managed to solve the biggest problems in this space, mainly scalability and governance. This shows us that blockchain technology is currently attempting to evolve into something that is capable enough and impactful enough to achieve mass adoption. This achievement is not something that's going to happen overnight either. It's going to take years and perhaps even decades. For this reason, when someone tells me that Cardano is moving too slowly, it always makes me wonder why they're in such a hurry. Honestly, Cardano's roadmap that ends in 2020 is a pretty reasonable goal. Claim number 3. Cardano has no dApps, therefore it sucks. I hear a lot of people talking about some other projects with thousands of dApps running on their blockchains. They're under the impression that just because these other projects have more dApps than Cardano, that they're ahead of the game. And it is true that Cardano currently has no dApps running on its computational layer. This is because it's currently in a testnet phase of development. But just because one blockchain has more dApps than another doesn't mean that it's more geared towards mass adoption. At the end of the day, the quantity of the dApps doesn't matter, it's the quality of the dApps that do. And by quality, I mean its ability to make a real-world impact or improve the lives of those who use it. CryptoKitties and decentralized casinos are not going to be what pushes crypto into mass adoption. In the end, it'll be the dApps that help to solve real-world problems. So yes, Cardano doesn't currently have dApps running on its blockchain, but I don't know of any dApps out there on competing chains that will be world-changing. And when that world-changing DApp does come along, its developers will most likely develop it on the safest and most reliable smart contracts platform they can find. And I believe that platform will be Cardano. Claim number 4. Charles Hoskinson is an evil, manipulative sociopath that's using Cardano as a money grab. This is the claim I find to be the most ridiculous, not because I think Charles is a great guy and I'm his biggest fan in the world, but because Charles is among one of the most transparent people in the cryptocurrency space. There exist tens of dozens of interviews of the man online, and he commonly posts to social media. It's clear upon watching these interviews and following his actions that Charles isn't conducting a money grab, but he is pursuing his passion. The same goes for the entire Cardano ecosystem. The transparency of this project and their willingness to show the world exactly what it is they're doing and at exactly what times they're doing it shows this isn't just some money grab. The only thing I can see being controversial about Mr. Hoskinson is how he responds to trolls on social media. He can get, well, pretty heated. A lot of people see this as a childish thing to do, and I don't disagree with them either. I mean, here's the CEO of a billion-dollar business, and he's trash-talking some troll who still lives in his mom's basement. There's obviously more important things for Charles to be focused on, but I think if you take a moment to put yourself in Mr. Hoskinson's shoes, then it's pretty understandable why he reacts like this. Imagine for a moment that you're a man with a vision to change the world for the better. You've spent nearly the last decade of your life attempting to make this vision a reality. You've built a billion-dollar business in an emergent industry to achieve this goal, and all the while you're doing it, you have people crawling out of the woodwork to shit on you. And that's gotta be pretty offensive. Personally, I think it's a sad state of affairs when anyone hates on another person in this space, as at the end of the day we all share the same dream. Regardless of what projects you follow or whoever it is you idolize in this space, it's always important to remember that we're all part of one community with the same goal in mind. Claim number 5. Peer review is not a good thing for Cardano. So I think people who make this claim either don't understand what peer review is or believe that ivory tower academics are the devil himself. Just because peer review is an approach that almost no one else in the space is taking other than Cardano, doesn't mean that it's a bad business practice to follow. It's important to realize that most developers in the crypto space are actually quite amateurish with their work. Most of them follow the classic Silicon Valley approach to programming, which is move fast and break things. This approach has worked well for the website and application industries, but Cardano isn't trying to be the next social media website or smartphone dating application. This is going to be a protocol designed to handle billions or trillions of dollars worth of assets. When that much money is on the table, it's important to take your time to flesh out any bugs or problems with your protocol, because bugs can lead to billions of dollars being lost, and in the end cause a lot of human suffering. This is why I believe the approach Cardano is taking with peer review is the best business practice in the space. I also believe that in time this will slowly become the industry standard, with IOHK being the trendsetters. There's plenty of more FUD about Cardano out there, but these are just the most popular I've seen being propagated, and I thought I'd address them. Perhaps I'll touch on more FUD in the future videos. That's all for today, guys. If you appreciate my content and would like to see more in the future, please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching.